Sheila, I don't know if you're familiar with the Seven Graces, and maybe Catherine, not you too, but this really influential concept which IDEABASH took and ran with. As I was building it, I just ran with the concept of the Seven Graces, which basically takes the traditional marketing tactics of appealing to vices, and it turns it on its head. So instead of appealing to vices, what you're doing is you're appealing to the graces. And I loved it so much, and I just went really very strongly in that direction and rejected all traditional business models completely in building this. And so the Seven Graces is a really, really wonderful, wonderful project, which as people are a part of IDEABASH, you're going to learn more and more about. The book was a bestseller, international bestseller. It's won all these different kinds of awards, and now Lynn is starting a group to basically help people authenticate their business ethics. And I'm a part of the pilot group with IDEABASH for that. But, we are going to be encouraging people to, promote themselves as ethical entrepreneurs as we go forward. That being said, I'm gonna just start with my very short introduction, and what I'd like to do is a guided group meditation. We're coming into the full moon tomorrow night, and it's a very, very, very powerful time for energy clearing. If we can just close our eyes and go into a state of openness. If we can all think about sending positive energy to the places in the world that are needing positive energy. And by joining our minds together in this, we create infinitely more powerful energy going out as compared to when it's just one person. So together, as a group, when we send our energy, we're absolutely empowering those that we're sending the energy to. The act of giving is in itself an energy creator. And as we give more of ourselves, we are then open to receiving more. We're replacing all the concepts of fear and distraction and lack with love and gratitude and abundance. And as we do this, the universe begins to listen to us and respond to the positive energy that we give. Imagine in front of you there's a net, kind of like a dream catcher, a giant dream catcher. And as you walk through this net, your fears and your distractions fall away from you. They get caught in the net. And as you walk through, you're more clear. And then ahead of you, there's another net, finer mesh. And as you walk through this next net, even more of your past life negativity, all of your things that hold you down and stop you from achieving your dreams, they get caught in that net.
Wow.
And as you come out the other side, there's just a brilliance, shimmering white light. And this is how you're going to go forward in your day. I just watched a video, a TED Talk that just blew my mind. And it was somebody I'd never heard of before, and I didn't write down his name, just talking about, and this is an introduction to Jenni's talk, we need to concentrate on the why of what we're doing, not the what. Anybody can give a spiel about what they're doing, but if you want to connect with people and form a community, You need to spread your belief about the fundamentals of why you're doing what you're doing and how you're doing what you're doing. People are not purchasing what you produce, they are purchasing your motivation for producing what you're producing. They're purchasing the why and how, your belief system. You will find success by aligning with people who believe the way you believe, and this is what IDEABASH is doing. The why of IDEABASH is the connection, empowerment, and collaboration of like-minded entrepreneurs. That's our why. Martin Luther King was not selling anything, and yet 250,000 people came to hear him on the Mall. So he believed in something that many others also believed in, and they then put their energy into getting to that place to hear what he had to say. Likewise, Apple computers, they didn't skyrocket because of their computers. They skyrocketed with their Think Different campaign. That's what separated them from the pack, which inspired us to associate with Picasso and Martha Graham and Miles Davis. That's how they made their mark. So don't concentrate on the what. Instead, be an inspiration to your potential customers, and that's how we will all find extraordinary success. All right, and now over to Jenni P. Thank you so much for being here, Jenni. I have so much love for this woman. She came into my life at a time when I was emerging from the depths, and she took my hand and drew me up into the light. She's probably more responsible for that than anybody else that I've ever known. And I'm so proud and glad to be associated with her in any possible way. And I'm very glad to be collaborating with her, having her as a part of IDEABASH, and having IDEABASH as a part of her new venture, which she will be talking to you about very soon. So take it over, Jenni.
Thank you, Meg. There's nothing like starting a call with a group hug.
Exactly.
So, for those who don't know me, my name is Jenni Parker Brown, a.k.a. the Dream Warrior. And the Dream Warrior is a name that's kind of has been hitched onto me over the last 4 or 5 years, because I viscerally empathize and feel people's desires and dreams. It's almost as if I channel people's desires and dreams with them. So I feel whatever you want, whatever people feel, I feel it. I empathize with it as much as they do. So the way that I interpret that is in my stories and my books and my programs. And I'm working alongside Meg on my own platform, which is called the I Am Chronicles. It's a magazine and a network and a platform for promoting and connecting conscious entrepreneurs, and I'm doing it in a completely different way from Meg, but we are collaborating. So that's a little bit about who I am. What we're going to talk about tonight is passion. That's one of my favorite subjects, because I've always been a passionate, ranting, raving, nervous, jumping up and down kind of being. And I now know how to channel it into something that can actually serve others. And it is such an amazing energy when we know how to channel it, and such a vital energy for doing what we're doing in this momentous time when we are devoting ourselves to serving others and making an impact. So let's first just start off, and I've got a couple of exercises for you. You might like to, just while I'm chatting on the first bit, is to grab a piece of paper and a pen, and because I've got a couple of sketches that a couple of doodle drawings that you might like to just have to hand, and then I'm going to tell you afterwards where you can have these properly as a gift, which I've got on my website as a gift. But it might help just to have these diagrams to hand. So first of all, I wanted to explode one of the passion myths, which is do what you love and the money will follow. Now, I've always followed my heart. I followed my heart to France. I followed my heart to do some extraordinary things, like leaving my country with my daughter and achieving some incredible dreams, including being a dancer on a stage in a Latin review, and horse dancing under a big top, and climbing mountains, and all sorts of things. I've always followed my heart, but it didn't guarantee that I made money. On the contrary, being passionate about something and sometimes got me into some very, very financial precarious situations. Could you agree with that, Meg?
Yes.
So there's something. There's another dimension to do what you love, and the money will follow. It has to be that your wealth consciousness is in alignment, because it can't work otherwise. There's a lot of other factors that need to come into play, more than just passion. So that's the first passion myth that I want to explode. We can transform that to how, rather than doing what you love and the money will follow, to how doing what you love can serve other people, which is what Meg's doing, and I'm sure what some of you are doing, or how doing what you love can solve a problem. Now there, you're right on the cusp of passion, how doing what you love can solve a problem for other people. Mm-hmm. So myth number 2 is if you know your purpose and you're following your purpose, that the riches would automatically shower on you. And I know that we in this call, in this group, in this tribe that we're moving, that a lot of people are called by their purpose, and certainly are feeling very altruistic, very, very motivated to make an impact, make a difference, and that is sufficient to carry us through to paying the bills, to enriching ourselves, to building the wealth freedom that they want. And that those two things don't necessarily make a whole either, because erroneous thinking about our purpose only serves to widen the gap between feeling that we must at all costs make a big difference to the world and finding the way and the means and medium that we do that practically in a way that can generate money. So that there can be a dichotomy there. In the same way as with passion doesn't necessarily guarantee that abundance will flow, being hitched to your purpose doesn't necessarily guarantee that the money will flow either. So one of the things that I want to touch on is how to build your life and business around what you do and you do best, so that it does open the gates to abundance in whatever way that you conceive that, whatever level of wealth and abundance you conceive that. So as a qualified passion test facilitator, I discovered this subject as long as it was broad when I took the passion test. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, and with Chris and Janet Atwood. And I experimented, and that is actually when Meg and I was able to help Meg out of that difficult time with the passion test. But I quickly discovered that the passion test was only the first step in discovering my passion, and that if you're a creative person and a conscious creator, then actually your passion shifts constantly. It doesn't actually stay the same. It shifts all over the place. It shifts throughout the year. It shifts throughout the day. It shifts throughout our cycles. So our passions shift. And I kept wondering about that, because at one point, just to explain simply the process of the passion test for those who don't know it, it is to draw up a list of those things which you consider will make your ideal life, and then to compare each one of them, and to then draw up a final list of 5 on which you base your ideal life. And it is a very, very, very useful process. It is a guiding process on which to found a life and business. But it wasn't enough for me. So what I found is that passion and purpose are actually the same thing. Your purpose is your passion, and your passion is your purpose. And the question that helped me more than anything else to find that passion and that purpose was to keep asking the question, what can't I live without? What can't I live without? Because we tend to go through our days and our lives and our routines, putting the things that we can't live without actually at the bottom of the priority list, because we prioritize paying the bills, because we prioritize the care that we need to give others and the care we need to give ourselves, and the jobs that we're in, and the housework and the domestic stuff and the relationships. And we tend to put the most important things to us right at the most bottom of the list, in the box of when I get round to it and when I get time, and when conditions are perfect or when conditions are better, then I'll do that. So here's a way to find out what you absolutely can't live without. So if you will, just fast forward with your eyes closed to the last day of your life, which could be any time. It could be today. It could be tomorrow. It could be next week. It could be in 50 years, and I wish for everybody that it's at least 50 years. So fast forward to the last day of your life that you know is going to be the last day of your life. And envisage that day without degeneration, without physical suffering, without pain, without being old or aged or any of those things, just in the knowledge that it is your final day on earth. And ask yourself what it is that you really, really want to do on that day. How do you want to spend the time at that day? It's probably important to you that you're with people you love. That goes without saying for almost everybody. But what is it that you want to be doing? And when you take that final breath, what is it that people are going to say about you? How are they going to remember you? What will they say about you? And I would just remind you, as I try and remind myself every single day, that if I die today, have I done the things that I came here to do? Have I fulfilled my purpose today? Have I done the thing that I absolutely can't live without? And for me, when I did this visualization, I did this meditation for quite a long time. I took some time over it. And I actually found that it was being on my horse and doing my horse dancing thing in a beautiful natural environment. And even though that was a passion that I'd actually shoved to the back of the pile under the others because it cost a lot of money and it didn't seem as important as some other projects. In actual fact, that is the one that I absolutely know that I can't live without. I can't live without that. And subsequently, when I realized that, I brought that back into my life and made it a top priority. And as a result of that, so many other things are opening up because I got back in line with something that is deeply, deeply, deeply important to me. So what is it that you absolutely can't live without? For some people, it will be as simple as food, as organic food, as a well-laid table, or making love to their partner, or being with their children, or making sure that they're heard, that their message is passed on. So that is both a passion and a purpose. And it's also an indication of your calling, your vocation, which comes from I believe it's Latin vocare, to call, your calling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we come into what Meg was talking about, your why, is really knowing your why. And being very simple about it. Your why is very, very linked to this thing that you can't live without. And it's also vitally linked to your own personal values. So if you could list your values, you will find your passion and your purpose there. Those are your passion and your purpose. If you listed 10 things that are really, really important for you, then that's what you came here to experience. You came here to experience those 10 things, or 20, or 50, or 1,000, or 3. The things that are your values, your own unique values, not your parents, not society's, not education, not the government, but your values. What you find important, that is your purpose. That is what you came here for. And that's why you feel passionate about it. And it is so important that we build our lives on our own values and connect with people who share our values.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So there's a lovely way to find those values, your why, and to explore how that why can be a source of great wealth and abundance. And it's in a model that I created, which is called the Silver Rose Map to Your Vocation. And I'm going to tell you where you can get the whole gift at the end, because there's 5 pages of it with all of the details. But I want you to imagine, you can just sketch this if you've got a pen to hand, to sketch a Venn diagram which consists of 3 overlapping circles. So you draw one circle, then you draw another circle where a line halves the first circle, if you like. So you've got 2 overlapping circles. And then you draw a third circle which overlaps the first 2 circles. So you've got 3 circles which kind of looks in this kind of triangular shape, which is a Venn diagram. And in the first circle, you write down everything that is your gifts. What are your unique gifts? What are your special talents? What do you do easily? What ease drives your actions? What is unique to you that you can do that nobody else can do in the world, the way that you do it? What are your gifts? And it might be something that is completely unusual. It might be a gift for cooking pastry when actually you're making hats or standing on the stage. But it doesn't matter. You just put down all of the things that you know you do really, really easily. And that's the first petal of the silver rose. In the second petal is your bliss petal. And in that you list everything that gets you into a state of timeless joy, where you don't see time pass, where you truly are joyous, when you're in the zone, when you feel the emotions rise, when your throat tightens with emotion. And you write down in the bliss petal everything that causes you bliss. And in the third petal, which is the passion petal, you write down everything that fires your beliefs, everything that drives your words, everything that animates your senses, everything that stirs you with both anger and motivation, what gets you ranting, what gets you on a pedestal. That's your passion petal. And right in the center, I'm cutting through this exercise just to indicate to you, to get you starting to think, and you've actually, because there are actually 7 petals in all, and there are actually 9 petals. Right in the center is the 7, is the silver bud, is that part of you that overlaps, which is what you are naturally gifted to do, with what you naturally love doing, with what you are naturally feisty about because it corresponds with your values.
Wow.
Does that make sense? Something that you do easily, something that gives you enormous joy, and something that is really, really a part of your core values. And in that is your why. In that silver bud is your why.
That's so cool, Jenni.
Sorry?
That's very cool. I've never seen this before. This is amazing.
It really is. Wow.
Okay, so on my website, you've got that as a gift. It's called the Get Paid to Be the Change Blueprint, and there's 5 pages of the Silver Rose model, which I created myself, and you will find in there, once you've done it, it's big and you will understand totally. You will find in there your vocation and calling. You will find in there what you are called or impulsed to do. You will find in there, before I die, I would like to achieve, and you will answer all of those questions. Then, if you can imagine, if you've got that little Venn diagram, if you draw a big circle around all of it, and then another big circle around all of that, you've got your why in the center. In the next circle, encircling the Venn diagram, you've got your what, which is your form or medium of expression, which will allow you to express your why. So the first, the silver bud will enable you to find exactly your why. Then you find the medium of the best way that you can express that why in the world. And then the outer circle, the last petal, if you like, is the means of expressing and monetizing that vocation. That is the how. You've got the why in the center, you've got the what, the form of the medium, and then you've got the how. And that gives you a complete model for monetizing your passion. Bingo. We've done it.
Right.
Wow, Jenni.
Okay.
Wow.
So the next step, the vital step to that, is once we've got that model and we base our life on that model, and once you see it in front of your eyes, you will understand it, and you just brainstorm it, heartstorm it. It'll give yourself a model. Then we need to get ourselves into the vibration whereby we can attract the abundance that we want and deserve. And going back to the first point about the missing link there on, do what you love and the money will follow, and even the missing link to how doing what you love can solve a problem, we have to be in the vibration of abundance to let that abundance come in. And this is the sticking point of so many conscious, heartfelt, heart-led, soul-led entrepreneurs. Because if it wasn't the sticking point, then every time somebody said, I'm going to start a business and make a difference, and this is really important to me, I want to be a coach or a therapist or a speaker and do something, there are millions and millions and millions of us who haven't known how to access the abundance in that equation.
Right.
And we are in this a momentous time of shift, this momentous time of change, and this is one of the things that we are exploring, that Meg's exploring in IDEABASH so beautifully, and this is what I'm exploring in the I Am Chronicles magazine platform. This is the importance of being, because our purpose and our passion is an expression of our being, of our existence, of the way that we experience life. And so some of you will probably be familiar with the idea that, and I'm quoting one of my great teachers and mentors, Harrison Klein, in this, we get what we are and not what we want. Mm-hmm. We get what we are and not what we want. Yes. Mm-hmm. So just by wanting and being devoted to and being ever so committed and following all the right 7-step programs in the world, and who hasn't got shelves heaving with ones that haven't worked, they're not necessarily going to work until we get ourselves into that state of being, of allowing, of continual, durable allowing, not a lucky break, not this works and that didn't, but durably. And that is a shift in consciousness. And passion and purpose are a shift in consciousness. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways that I've enabled myself to make that shift and have piles of miracles avalanching into my life is by learning how to manage and control my thoughts and emotions, mm-hmm. and how to access the state of that state of being which optimizes abundance and abundance from doing what I love doing, my why, all the time, or the maximum amount of time, so that there are very few blips on the radar. I almost never get angry. I almost never get sad. Those are things, pain and suffering are a thing of the past. And I'm going to show you another page on my website, and I'm going to give you my website in a moment. And I've got another freebie for you, and it's called the seven Steps to Grace. So it's not the 7 graces, it's the 7 steps to grace. Isn't that lovely?
Serendipity.
So if you will, you can just sketch this on a piece of paper. Draw an arrow which goes from earth to heaven with a vertical arrow with a little point at the top pointing to heaven and a little point down the bottom pointing to the earth. And just above the little arrow bit at the bottom, you draw a horizontal line. So the pointy bit at the bottom is actually under that horizontal line. Now that line is the line of awareness, of consciousness. And we all are more or less aware or not aware, depending on our agility, I would say, our agility with maintaining mindfulness over the day, depending what happens to us. When challenges happen, we get less mindful and less aware. When things are going well, or we're in the kind of space where we're sharing this kind of information, it's easier to keep awareness and mindfulness. So under that line of awareness is resistance. It's frustration, indecision, concern, preoccupation, worry, heaviness, anxiety, contradiction, doubt, anger, sadness, fear, judgment, confusion, overwhelm, brooding, moodiness, and then right down to depression and sickness and disease and drama and stuckness and addiction and phobia and grief and despair and loneliness. We've all been there. And then once we get above that line of awareness, there is an order, a process to which we can access passion and then the state of grace, which enables us to be in the best possible alignment for abundance. And here's the order, and you will understand completely. Sometimes when we're not feeling good, when we're feeling one of those things which are under the line of awareness, we want to get back to feeling good and feeling happy as fast as possible, and especially feeling passionate, because being passionate is great. But it's sometimes hard. It's sometimes hard to do. So if you can understand that all you have to do is to get to the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step, and take the steps upwards, you will get back to that passionate state and that state of grace in which things can happen. And here's the order. So under the line of awareness, we've got resistance. The first thing, I've got this. Can you hear me, Meg?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I've got this thing going on with my phone again.
Okay.
I'm just going to check to see. Oh, we're at 49 minutes. Okay. So I've got a feeling my phone is going to give out, and I'm going to leave you to finish off if it goes.
Okay.
So I'm going to go quite quickly. First of all, what I'm going to do is to give you my my website number, website address, which is http://dreamwarriorjennyp.com. dreamwarriorjennyp.com. You will find on the front page then the gift, the blueprint. If you look at the top of the page, you will see a tab called Begin the Alchemy. Begin the Alchemy, and it is actually a survey, and I offer you at the bottom to have this other gift, which is the seven steps to grace, which I'm gonna go quite quickly. So if you will, imagine that the first step to grace is knowing that you have the choice, is knowing that you actually have free will. We are creatures of free will. We are creatures of free will, and this is so important for getting back to that state of grace. Once we remember that we are creatures of choice and free will, we can then take the next step. And the next step is making a decision. Is making a decision that we will feel better, that we will shift our consciousness, that we will come back into mindfulness, that we will do what's necessary now. We make the decision. And that way we've already taken our power back. Once we've made that decision, we can make an intention. We make an intention that we are going to get back into that state of grace, to get back into the maximum vibration of alignment for abundance. When we set the intention, we then give it attention by focusing, by concentrating, by spending time doing what we know that we need to do to get back there. Then we give it devotion, and that's when we start getting into passion and fervor and ardor and ecstasy and rapture and fascination, and we get fiery again. Then we detach from it all, because if we are too attached to things, then they don't happen to us. You know, if we get too attached to even good things, we often have the frustration that we're so attached to our dreams and they won't just happen because we're so attached to them. We have to passionately detach from them. And that is when we get into the state of grace. And that is the time when everything can come into us, when everything, balance and beauty and bliss and elegance and finesse and agility and benevolence and compassion and blessings and peace and miracles and silence and calm and expansion and creativity. And This is all on a beautiful, beautiful drawing with all the exercises to take you there step by step. You'll never have to be in resistance again if you use this 7 steps to grace. So I've given you there a model by which you find your why, that you make it your what, then you make that your, then you find that how to make it into money. And this is a second model for how you can continually find your way back, find your way home to your passion and purpose in a state of grace, and do that every single day, because practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Mm-hmm. And you can maintain that passion through anything that life throws at you. And this is the last thing that I want to say, is because this is why we need passion, and I'm going to get passionate now, because God darn it, it's a freaking challenging life being an entrepreneur. And oh my God, showing up in the world as yourself and your uniqueness and giving of your best is challenging. It's challenging on our money, on our energy, on our resources, and we need everything on our side. Everything on our side. And the most important thing is being able to have that mental and emotional gymnastic ability and get back to that state of grace where everything you want comes to you.
Yes. Yes. Jenny?
Yes.
Oh, you're still there.
I'm still there. I think it's going to go. So I just want to leave you with one thing. If you like, Meg, what we can do at another time, or I can do this on the I Am Chronicles platform, is these 2 exercises with the written versions of them in PDF form, which you can download. It's a really useful group exercise to do these in great detail in a group setting. So that's something that I will be doing, or we'll do together in the near future, and we'll spend more time on each of those exercises, which I've just skimmed over because I wanted to give you great value today and some things to try and experiment. But that's definitely something that we can do. And I just want to leave you with something that is coined or written by the genius, that wordsmith that is my beloved partner, Dize. And if you write passion down, Passion, and then spread it out to pass I on, which helps us remember that passion is the link to our eternal self. When we are in that state of passion, when we're in any state of passion, we are connected with the eternal self that never dies, which came here to do something and will keep doing it after this physical vessel has passed on. So passion is pass I on. It is the eternal self speaking to us. When we are passionate, the eternal self is giving us messages. It's calling us home. That is why it's so important. So I hope that I've articulated why we need to know our why passion is the signpost to getting there, and how we can maintain the state of grace and the emotional and awareness agility to shift into that passionate being who knows their why, who's living it 1,000% every single day.
Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Does anybody have a quick question for Jenny before she gets cut off?
I just have a thank you. I had chills and unbelievable, like opening of the chakras, all of them, the points. And I really felt like this was meant for me to hear, and just so much Thanksgiving.
Excellent.
Yes, and visions and much clarification.
Oh,
so
thank you for that feedback. Who is that, by the way?
Oh, this is Cynthia, or Meg called me Cindy.
Cynthia, okay. Thank you, Cynthia, for that feedback. That's very important. Thank you.
Absolutely. What a blessing.
Cynthia, I thought you were somebody else. I'm sorry. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, you did, because you called me Cindy. Okay.
Somebody else. All right. Anybody else, quickly?
Yeah, this is Sheila. I will second that motion. Thank you so much for what you shared. There's so much value in that, and I'm excited about getting my hands on this and taking myself through that process. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah. Very.
Yeah. Wonderful.
I'm wondering if there's a way that we can create a little kind of user group or something for people to be able to do it together. Maybe in a meetup situation or like a Google chat or something like that.
That's what I had in mind, was to do it as a Google Hangout.
Yeah.
So
right.
what I'd like to encourage ladies to do is to find the I Am Chronicles page on Facebook, because the magazine's out in just under 2 weeks' time, and I know that you're going to love it. And I will be posting on the I Am Chronicles page on Facebook when that exercise, and they're going to be shortly after the launch of the magazine, and there are going to be 2 exercises that I'll do as a Google Hangout, or find a practical way to do it as a group, so that we can share it and we can really explore it in a lot more detail.
Love it.
Because they're both huge and important parts of this process, and an hour is not in. We just kind of skim the surface, really.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So what I'll do is I will put updates to that on the IDEABASH Facebook page, so that people, because that seems to be the place where people are really kind of communicating the most right now. So I'll make sure to put it there so that people have access to it.
Thank you, Meg.
Yeah, absolutely. Jenni, I just have to say this was magnificent, absolutely powerful. Jam-packed with revelations, and I want to thank you so much for being a part of the IDEABASH community, and I hope that people from IDEABASH will go over in May and see the first issue of your new publication. And I've been a part of Jenni's other publications, and they are just amazing. They're really bringing people to the table who you want to hear from. It's like she's really well connected to some of the cutting edge entrepreneurs around the world, and they are flocking to the I Am Chronicles because they see it as a really powerful platform and a magnet for the people who want to be the change.
Okay, so let me just if I can just say a word about that. Is the reason that I began the I Am Chronicles, the I Am platform, is because I realized how essential consciousness is and I wanted to, my passion is in raising awareness of how people can awaken to their own greatness just by being who they are, and that it isn't complicated. It really isn't complicated, and it certainly doesn't take 5 years of therapy and a massive, and thousands of dollars of 7-step programs. It can be in the twinkling of an eye. It really can be in the twinkling of an eye. So this magazine is about raising awareness and bringing this information to more people and connecting us all in this fabulous shifting energy.
Perfect. Excellent. And the I Am Chronicles is on the which platform?
The website isn't quite finished. The best way to go is on Facebook, I Am Chronicles.
Okay.
Actually, I've just remembered that it doesn't actually. Yeah, it's best to go type it into the search box at the top of Facebook. I Am Chronicles. Or if not, you can post the link, or I'll post the link in IDEABASH, Meg.
Beautiful. All right. Okay, I think that we're going to call it. Does anybody have any questions at this point? I'm sorry.
I just want to say that was awesome, Jenni. I'm just going to butt in really quick. This is Catherine. That was just really, really excellent. I'm a huge fan of Jenni's for many years, and so I'm just going to give her a little backup support to folks who haven't worked with her, that she's just an amazing person, and I highly recommend that you find that link and join it. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
Thank you, Catherine.
Cynthia?
Oh yeah, I was just going to. I'll research, but I wanted to ask in advance if your magazine is open to freelance writers.
It is, but I will go into that on the page. I will go into that. I will explain once my website up. I will explain how that works. Cynthia.
Very good. I'll be looking out. And thanks again.
Thank you.
I can see the two of you definitely collaborating. I could see it. Wonderful. All right. Jenni, thank you so much. Dream Warrior Jenni P. has been here today on the April Pink Moon IDEABASH teleseminar. Next month we will have much better access for everybody, so that you can listen online, just on a web page. And we're IDEABASH is moving and grooving. We have lots of new members, and the energy is just fantastic. I couldn't be happier with the response that we're getting, and it's just the beautiful energy that everybody's bringing to it. So we're going to keep on that roll, help people make a great living in this changing world and spread their ideas and have that mind space to be able to do the work that they were put here to do, and that's what we're all about. So we'll see you next time, and I think our next guest next month is going to be Sheila Hawkins, who is an expert on time management. And there'll be a lot more about that. She has a new book coming out, and we look forward to all you guys coming and joining us next time. Join us on the Facebook group. It's IDEABASH Facebook group. Go to the website, ideabash.org. There's a lot of information there to see what we're doing, how we're doing it, who's involved, and all that kind of stuff. And we look forward to meeting up with all you guys very soon again. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Lots of love.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.